Hey there, this is Peyton here with Profit Daylight, and on this video, I'm going to talk to you about the button element or widget inside of Elementor. And buttons are very important inside posts or pages. They are call to actions. They are elements that people can click on to take them to other things that you want to offer or promote. So a button is very important inside of Elementor or inside a website actually. So with Elementor, as usual, you will get all the elements here on your left, and here is the button. You can just go ahead and drag it to the center or to the page builder, and you can start to modify and edit the button. So I have added a button here, and as you can see, there are some effects that occur when I just place my mouse or hover over the button, and those things can be completely modified. You can see that it takes a color by default is most likely the color that I have here on my uh, global colors. We have seen that on previous video. You can come to global colors here and you can define what color does what, but I'm just going to exit out from there. So you can see that by just hovering over the button, the text changes, or at least the color of the background color of the buttons changes. So let's see what we can accomplish by editing this button. So in first instance, we have three options as usual. We have the content, we have style, and we have advanced. And underneath content, we have button. So let's just explore some of the options there. First one is type, and these are some options that Elementor puts here. The default option is default, but you can also set it to info. It changes depending on what you select: success, warning, danger. So this is only an option. You can actually leave it as the default. Then the text is definitely the text that is inside here. I can just add, click here now and put a exclamation mark. So you will type your text there. Then link is pretty obvious. You can come ahead and type a link, because when people are going to click on that button on your website, they will be redirected to website. So I can put whatever website I want here. Let me just go ahead and put cnn.com. And let me just go ahead and preview changes. And if I did it right, if I click here now, it takes me to CNN page. So I'm just going to come back here. I'm just going to exit out from CNN. And alignment, I can align it to the center, to the left, to the right, inside of the column I have also covered videos where I talk about columns and sections. So this is just a button I added inside of a section, and it's only one column. So let me just go ahead and put it back to the left. Size, extra small, small, medium, large, and extra large. So that is what extra large will be, and large and small. You can go ahead and modify or play with the options there. An icon is pretty interesting because you can uh, go to your icon library and you can add one of these icons here. You have plenty of icons that you can add. So let's say, for example, I wanted to add this uh, bus alt icon. I insert it, and you can see that it has inserted the bus alt icon. I can change the position, whether it's before or after. And I can also modify the spacing between the text and the icon. So I will just come here by icon spacing. I can either move this bar to my right hand, or I can use the up or down arrow to change that with a little more control. So you have the options there. All right, so I'm going to leave that button ID option. maybe for another time. And those are the options that you'll get underneath button. Now, you can also come to your style uh, properties, and here's where you will modify things like typography. We already all know, if you're following the videos on this channel, you know that you can come here to typography and just change the typography. You can put one of the fonts that you have in the global fonts. I'm not going to move that. I'm not going to move this one. Text shadow, you can also add a text shadow if you wish. I don't really see much benefit of that, but is an option there. So basically I can come and maybe let's select a color here. I'm going to select maybe something like this. Let me just move this up here. And what am I under? Text shadow and blur. I can change how blur is at. You probably won't see a great change until I change it either horizontally or vertically. So you can see something is moving right where the bus icon is. If you look, you will see something is just moving to my right and to my left, and now it's going to move up and down. So you can, pretty much do that if you wish. I'm just going to put the values back to default, and I'm going to just go ahead and move this here, put it back to default. So here underneath this section, you have two tabs. You have normal and you have hover. As I said before, by default, whenever I hover over the button, it changes. So if I want to modify the colors or the text, when I hover over the button, I can just come here and select hover and modify those options. Now, I can change the color here as usual. I will select, let's say, a primary color. It doesn't look good. I come and select a secondary color. Maybe it looks a little better, and so on and so on. Those are the global colors that you have previously selected. We have covered that on other videos on this channel. So I'm just going to put the default color, which is white in this case. Background color, this is where I will change the background of my button. Let's say I wanted it red. And border type, let's say I wanted a solid border type, I can put a double border type. And when I change the width, then I will see some sort of changes there. I put double, I can put dotted, doesn't make any much sense for me. Dashed, maybe I have the width is too big, so let me just, you can change it up here pretty much how you want. So I'm going to come back here to border type, and I'm going to put solid, and I'm going to put that, leave that down to 5. And the color of that border type, I can also modify that here. Just go ahead and put maybe something that is a little more accordingly. Here you go. You can actually play with the options. And border radius. So it has a default radius. If I come and if I select 1, then it changes. And as I go modifying the radius, it gives me whatever I have put there. I'm just going to change it. I'm just going to leave it as default. Now, there's another thing that I have seen. There is another style of buttons I have seen. So let me just change this and just explain that quickly. Background color, I'm just going to change that. And let me just remove this. So it's just as normal how it was before. What I'm going to do underneath the inside the column, I'm coming back to a column, and I'm going to change the color of the column. So I have changed the color of the column, and I'm coming back now to my button. I'm going to touch my button here, and this is what's going to happen. I underneath the style option where it says background color, I am going to remove the color. So I have actually removed the color completely from that button. And all I'm going to do now is just add a solid background. This is just a visual change there. What will happen is that it looks like a button. It's actually a button. It doesn't have a background color. So it takes the background color of the element that is behind. In this case, it is a column. So it takes that color, and I can modify what happens when I hover over it. So I want the background color when I hover over it to be this one. Let's see if it works. And there you go. Oh, I don't want it to be that one. I want it to be greens when I hover over it. So that's just a little trick that I have found out. Again, what I did here, I came underneath the column and I changed the color of the column. Obviously, if I change it here, then I'll have to put a background color on my button, which I'm going to do again here. I'm coming back under style, background color. I will just move this bar to my right and brings back the color. So those are some of the options that you can find for a button. It's pretty cool. You can continue playing around with the options, the patterns, and obviously if you come to the advanced tab here, you will have pretty much the same options that any element has. We have covered that in multiple videos. So that's all there is to it on this video. We have talked about the button elements inside of Elementor. If you feel it has been informative, just go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I will continue creating more videos about Elementor. You can subscribe to my channel as well. I will greatly appreciate that. Until then, I wish you have a wonderful day and thanks for watching my video.